And there is power in what we've been through, because that literally shapes us to where we are now, right? Okay, so welcome back to my show. I am your host, Labreia, and this is your safe space for you to heal, grow, and discover who you are. Today in our video, we're going to be piggybacking off the previous video on tips on becoming more confident, and I encourage you to go back to that video because those tips are more foundational, where we talk about where you start when we talk about becoming confident within. So like I said, I encourage you to go look at the video and then come right back over to get the rest of the tips. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. When it comes to us wanting to be more confident, right, wanting to speak up for ourselves, wanting to be able to know ourselves, right, because being confident is knowing ourselves. So sometimes this inner critic can come in and really destroy our sense of self, destroy our confidence if we are not careful. The inner critic that is in our minds, our brains, that little voice that speaks to us, right, that really shapes the way we see the world and our sense of identity, our sense of self. And if this inner critic is always speaking negatively, just imagine the impact, right, as we see in the world every day, even within ourselves, on how that impacts our everyday life. And when we speak to ourselves negatively all the time, every single day, that's how we view the world. That's how we make decisions, right? We hurt ourselves, we may hurt other people just by having this negative mindset. And also, I want to point out this inner critic, right? These words that's going around in circles in our heads could have picked up things that other people have said about us negatively. And these thoughts passed down from them, we have now took root of those and made them our own. And whether you are associated with someone who has a negative mindset, you live with someone, you have friends with a negative mindset, a negative outlook on life, right? You will begin to take root of that and make that your own, right? And the famous saying is, a bird of feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together, right? So the things that your circle may be doing, the family that you may be surrounded in all the time, sometimes you start to pick up on the little things that they do, how they live, how they think, right? It's really crucial to make sure that you get yourself in an environment to help you build on a better mindset. And then also, I would say this is another tip under this, is to build an arsenal of affirmations, of Bible scriptures that you can shoot off once that inner critic tries to come in negatively, right? Once those thoughts of self-doubt, of unworthiness, pessimistic thoughts, when they start to trickle in, we need to be able to go to war, right? We need to be able to fight off these thoughts because they're not going to leave on their own. So we have to be armed with affirmations, with scriptures. I don't care if you have to put them on a mirror. I don't care if you write them down in your notebook. I don't care if you put them in your closet, on your mirror in the bathroom. Put them somewhere that you can see them every day. Read them every day, so that once those thoughts come in, you can immediately get rid of those thoughts, right? And sometimes, I've said this before too, sometimes it takes more than just thinking another thought on top of a thought. Sometimes it takes you to speak out loud and speak up. Thoughts come in, you need to say, hey, no, that's not it. We're not doing that today. You can quickly say, I am powerful beyond belief. I am not my past. You could say, I am right where I am supposed to be. Definitely, please write down some affirmations that you need, right? So go research, go Google, go do what you have to do, so that you can build something to help you combat those negative thoughts and combat that negative mindset. Also, scriptures, right? You can go to Jeremiah 29:11, right? For I know the plans I have for you, said the Lord, plans of peace, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you hope in the future. You can go to Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. You can spit out Jeremiah 17:7. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. And there are more scriptures in the Bible that will definitely help you to believe in yourself more, to help you come out of that self-doubt, to help you come out of that unworthiness, to help you come out of that low self-esteem. You have to go searching for that. Next, we need to understand that emotions are temporary. Okay. And I am an emotional person. But I have learned to control my emotions, especially in heated situations, in situations that are unfavorable to me. I have learned to control my emotions, because when you think about it, when you see these videos on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, and they're not able to hold, even in person, and the person is not able to hold their own, they're not able to control their emotions. Now they're cussing somebody out. Now they're fighting and doing all this nonsense, right? And you look at them like, right? You look at them like, what is going on? What is wrong with you, right? Sometimes people overreact, right? So we need to understand that emotions are temporary, right? Yes, you may be upset in the moment and you may want to punch somebody, kick, right? You may want to scream. You may want to say some unfavorable words to that person. You may want to cut that person with your words. But like I said, emotions are temporary, and I don't want you to make a decision off of temporary emotions, because I can look back. I know for me that I have made some decisions based off of emotions. And when I look back over that, I'm like, well, I could have handled that 100% differently, right? I could have said, you know what, let me just take a second to calm down so that I can make a sound decision, or let me at least process what's going on so that it makes sense. Because once your emotions start to take hold of you, the way that you problem solve changes. So it's important just to take a few seconds to chill. So we need to stop overreacting. That's number one, right? Let's stop overreacting on things that really doesn't need a big reaction. It's imperative too that we are proactive instead of reactive. And I just want to say this, I learned this in pause, think, and act is an amazing thing that I have adapted in my life. Because when you pause, no matter how mad you are, no matter how frustrated you are, when you pause for a few seconds, for a few minutes, you are then able to regulate yourself enough to where then you are able to respond in a way that makes sense. You respond in a way that you are not about to go off the rails, right? So it's important to pause, think, and act. And sometimes pausing could take a day or two. Sometimes pausing only needs a couple seconds. It's imperative that we start pausing so that we can start making decisions that are rational and that are logical instead of emotional. Moving on to the next one. And the next one is focus on what you can control. And baby, let me tell you, this one was so difficult for me to let go of. And I would say it was difficult for me to let go of because once you feel like you don't have control over your life, you feel like you're really in this unknown space and you don't know what's going to happen next. So you want to try to have control over everybody, every situation, the outcomes. You try to predict things, but then you realize the controlling that you have on other people, the controlling you try to put on situations is going to leave you in situations that are unfavorable to you because you were trying to do everything. You were trying to predict everything and you were trying to control everything. And let me tell you, you cannot control everything. The only thing and the only person that you can control is you. And that's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. What is so relieving, honestly, and such a breath of fresh air, is knowing that you can only control yourself and that you can't control nobody else. And I say that because when I look back on my life and when I was trying to control people and situations, I was stressed out. I was stressful because because when you try to control somebody else, if they don't do what you say, or if they don't do anything to your liking, you get upset, you become stressed out. And then I realized, like, I don't have time for that. Labreia does not have time to control nobody but herself. When I realized that, when I relinquished control of situations and different people like that, I was able to breathe, right? And I was able to focus on myself and love on myself and fill myself up and really take my growth to another level. It's important to know that you control yourself and yourself only. And honestly, for me, I've noticed that there is power in knowing that you only have control over yourself. When you begin to relinquish control, you begin to see the world differently, and you begin to react to certain things differently, knowing that you can't control anybody else but yourself. And there's a sense of peace that comes with knowing that, hey, you know what, I can't control what you got going on over there, but I can control myself, right? And I can walk away or do what I have to do in order to make peace with myself. And lastly, I want us all to adopt a growth mindset. Right? We are always growing. We are always evolving. We are always evolving, right? We are always moving, and we always need to be in a state of learning, right? That's learning a new skill, maybe reading a book, maybe listening to podcasts. We always need to be in a state of learning, taking a new class, picking up a new hobby. I think it's so imperative to learn something new, because that honestly opened doors for further opportunities that you may not have had previously because you didn't know said thing. Now that you know something else, right, you open different opportunities in a whole nother world that you couldn't even think of, right? So definitely always be in a state of learning. And with adopting a growth mindset, let's challenge ourselves to really see obstacles. Let's challenge ourselves to see obstacles as opportunities. When you begin to have a growth mindset, right, you begin to see that your obstacles are opportunities, right? And there are opportunities of learning something. And looking back on my life as I was going through things, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, why me? Like, why am I going through this? What is going on? I'm always in hurt and pain and suffering, and I'm always sad, right? And I'm always going through something, right? I'm always going through something, God. What's going on? And then as I reflect now, looking at my past, I would not be where I'm at today if I did not go through what I've been through. And there is power in what we've been through, because that literally shapes us to where we are now, right? And I am so grateful of all the hurt and the pain and the suffering that I went through, because now I am wise. I'm able to take what I've been through and apply it to where I'm at, to where I am now, and to where I'm going. Okay. And then also, with having this growth mindset, you want to pay attention to your self-talk, right? That inner critic that we talked about the first thing in this video. You want to be able to make sure that you are talking to yourself positively, that you are nurturing yourself, that you are giving yourself grace, that you are loving on yourself. So that means getting those affirmations, like I said previously, right? And talking to yourself kindly, going into the Bible and seeing how God looks at you, how God pictures you, right? And understanding who you are and who He is, that's going to help you to just be more confident, right? Oh, just thinking about it. You're going to, I always say this, but you're going to walk different and talk different once you know who you are, right? And I think that's big too, is just knowing who you are as a person Yeah. And then another thing about adopting a growth mindset is embracing your imperfections, all your flaws, because all your imperfections make who you are, right? And there is power. I'm always talking about power. There is power in knowing that we are imperfect, right? And that's what makes us who we are. And I've learned that along the way, because I will want to be perfect all the time. Literally, I will want to be this cookie cutter, so nicely shaped, so nicely packaged, and I wouldn't want people to see I was struggling. I wouldn't ask for help. I would seem like everything is okay. They'll be like, Labreia, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. Mind you, I just got done crying in the car, right? We put on this happy face to make it seem like everything's okay, and it's not, right? And knowing that it's okay to be imperfect, it's okay to not be okay sometimes, because life is going to throw you some hard balls. It's going to throw you what can life throw you? Lemons. Life can throw you lemons, right? But with this growth mindset, you can get lemonade, right? You see how I did that? Yeah. No, I'm corny, I know. But no, in all seriousness, like embracing imperfections, like it is okay, because as we go throughout life, you understand that there's beauty in the process, and in that process comes imperfections, comes trials and tribulations and things like that. Knowing in the mistakes that we go through, right, that teaches us a lot. It helps us to get further in life once we learn from those past mistakes, right? So just being imperfect is cool. Like, also knowing, this is the extra one that just came to my mind, but also knowing that everybody is not gonna like you, and you have to be okay with that. And that is one thing that I've had to learn, is that I was a people pleaser, and I had to come to realization that everybody's not gonna like you, and that is okay. And once you also get that in mind, once you also bring that into your mindset that everybody's not gonna like you, you then step into who you are, because now you're not people pleasing. Now you're not looking for acceptance from somebody else. You're only looking for acceptance from yourself and God, because that's who you should be looking for acceptance, period. Is there anything else that I would like to say? I just want to say that I love you. I love you. God loves you. God hears you. God sees you, and God is working for you. Okay, so I just want you to never give up. I want you to keep going. Life does get hard. Life gets so hard sometimes, where sometimes the pain may seem unbearable. The suffering may seem like it's never going to end, but I want you to keep going, because I can just feel that God is telling me to tell you that it's working out in your good, and it's going to be okay. And this is what I am here for. I am here to help you heal, grow, and discover who you are. And sometimes you are going to have to go through some unhealed issues and trauma, and you're going to have to get through these emotions. But once you get through all of it, my God, there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, I promise. There is promise at the end of the tunnel, I promise. And God wants you to have that, but first you have to do the work. God's not going to do it for you. He's going to nudge you. God's going to nudge you. The Holy Spirit is going to nudge you to, like, hey, come on. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Right? But He's not going to do the work for you. You have to do the work. And God is going to move things out the way for you. He's going to push you along, right? He's going to carry you. He's going to love on you and nurture you. But you have to be open and receiving to that. Okay, so beautiful people, that is the end of the show. If you have any prayer requests, questions, need advice, or anything, please email me at nosmalltalkquestions.com, or you can DM me at I am Labreia. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, and comment below. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. And that is the end of the show. Have a good day, guys.